Slavic months. Summer. It's already warm and sometimes even hot outside. Flowers are gradually replaced by fruits. Meadows smell of floral variety. As summer heat reaches the regions of Polisia and the Carpathian Mountains, a small beetle called cochineal lays its larvae in the roots of plants. People in ancient Rus would go to the forest to collect these larvae because they were worth their weight in gold in the kingdoms of Europe and Byzantium. These insects, which are also called chervets in Ukrainian, were used in ancient times to produce a bright red paint for dyeing expensive fabrics, and the ancient princes of Rus dyed their battle flags using this paint too, so they became red as cochineal, chervets. Harvesting the cochineal was so important that the month of June, when it was collected, was named after this beetle, cherveń in Ukrainian. Other Slavs also knew about the small and yet important insect. This month is known as červen among the Czechs, the ancient Bulgarians called it červenik, and the Belarusians still call it červeň, and so do the Poles. They say červets. Next to the cochineal, another insect, a grasshopper, chirps in the grass all day long. It was called izoko in Old Church Slavonic. Therefore, the ancient Bulgarians and the ancient Rus had another name for June, izoko. In some lands, craftsmen produced red paint in July, so the Czechs and Bulgarians also named the month of July after the cochineal beetle. Modern Czech, červenec, and ancient Bulgarian, červeno. In ancient Rus, July was also sometimes called červeno. Colorful midsummer. Insects fly in swarms on the meadows. The air is thick with the scents of forest and field plants, and bee swarms can be seen on them. A special sweet aroma belongs to the lime tree, lipa in Ukrainian. What amazing honey the bees will make of the lime blossom. This life-giving month of July is called lipень in Ukrainian. Of course, this is lipень for the Belarusians and lipec for the Poles. But the Croats live further south. Therefore, everything blooms earlier in their land, and even the lime tree. So the Croats call the lime tree month the 6th month. They say lipeń for it. In the second half of summer, it's hot outside. Plums ripen in the gardens. Various insects and beasts are a joy to see in the woods. The southern Slavs begin harvesting the first crops. The peasants have already prepared their tools to go out to reap. The Slovenes, Croats, and Bulgarians start harvesting in July, so they have already sharpened their sickles. It was the sickle, srp or serp, that became the symbol of this month in the ancient Slovenian language. It was called Veliki Srpan and Srpen in Bulgarian dialects. Among the Croats, the 7th month is also called Srpanj. In this third month of summer, the harvest continues in some lands and it only starts in some other Slavic lands. Here and there, one can see haystacks. The Slovenians are already finishing their harvest, so they used to call the last month of summer Mali Srpanj. The Ukrainians, Poles, Belarusians and Czechs have only now prepared their sickles, serp, and go out into the field. That is why the ancient Rus called the third month of summer srpen, just like the Ukrainians do now with serpeń. The Poles say sierpień, and the Czechs say srpen. As for the Belarusians, it was not so much important what they reap with, it's the result that matters. So they call August żniwień, deriving from żniwa, harvest. However, Reaping the crops is not enough. The crops now have to be taken out of the fields, so the peasants carry the harvest on wheels, kolo, that is, on wheeled carts. For Croatian peasants, it was thus quite natural to call August kolovoz. Wow, do you hear that? What is this roar that is heard in the Balkan and Carpathian forests? This is the roar of deer and elk males, because it's time for them to compete for females. Hearing the roar of deer and elks, the ancient Bulgarians called August Zarev. This Old Church Slavonic name of the last summer month was sometimes also used by scribes in ancient Rus. Subscribe to my channel, become a patron on my Patreon account, and I will make sure to see you in my next episode.